All right, now the next set of questions is going to ask us to identify shapes based on the number of sides and the number of the angles they have. So what you see is the table that's at the top of page 475 in your math textbook, 475, and that's a table that shows the list of some common names of polygons. As you can see, and as you know, we start off with a three-sided shape known as a triangle, head up to a four-sided shape known as a quadrilateral. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, well, why isn't the answer square or rectangle or parallelogram or trapezoid? Those are all types of quadrilaterals, but any four-sided figure can be described by the term quadrilateral. Five-sided shape is known as a pentagon. Six-sided shape is known as a hexagon. Seven-sided shape is known as a heptagon, H-E-P-T-A-G-O-N, heptagon. An eight-sided shape is an octagon. A nine-sided shape is called a nonagon. Now, if you look in some old books, this might actually be called an enneagon, E-N-N-E-A-G-O-N. It depends what book you're looking at and how old that book is. And the 10-sided shape is called a decagon. And that's what we need to answer the questions here at the top of the next page in example number 2. And those questions are asking me to name the polygons. So obviously here again, priority would be to counting the sides, because as we count the sides, that's going to help us identify the shape here. So as we look at the shape in 2A there and count the sides, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sides. Well, an 8-sided shape is known as an octagon. It has 8 sides and 8 different angles that are created. In part B, this 4-sided shape here, that means this is a quadrilateral. Now, this might look a little bit like a diamond to you. Some of you might call this a kite. But again, any 4-sided shape in general is just called a quadrilateral. Now, as we scroll down to question number 3 here, question 3 here is asking me to name the polygon and tell if it's regular, and if not, explain why not. Remember, regular, as we saw in the definitions, implies two things. Regular implies that the side has all shapes that are the same, and all of its interior angles have to be the same. So if we take a look at part A here, first thing we want to do is name the polygon. Well, since it's a 4-sided shape, that means it's going to be a quadrilateral. As far as naming if it's regular or not, as we look at the sides, even though we're not given any numbers, we do have, as we've already seen in this chapter, the tick marks going through the sides. And remember, the tick marks indicate congruence because there's one tick mark through each of these, meaning everything that has one tick mark through it has the same measure. So the sides are congruent. Remember, congruent is the geometry word for equal. And if we look at the angles here, the angles also happen to be drawn with the equal number of tick marks through each. It looks like each one of those has 2 tick marks through them. So since each one of those has 2 tick marks through them, they have to be the same. Well, if all the angles happen to be the same and all the sides happen to be the same, that means this is going to fit the billing for being a regular polygon. That means this is a regular quadrilateral. And of course, a regular quadrilateral would be known as a square. Some of you might be thinking of, well, why wouldn't rhombus fit the billing? Hopefully you know rhombus. Rhombus does have congruent sides, but a rhombus does not have congruent angles. And that's why rhombus does not fit the billing here. As we take a look at the B example here, again, another quadrilateral. As we look at the angles here, the angles do have similar markings here. As you can see, the angles on each do have one tick mark through each of those angles, so that would be okay. However, the sides are very clearly different here. The left and the right are the same, but they are not the same as the top and the bottom, which are the same as each other, however. Since the sides are different here, this shape is not regular, even though it is a quadrilateral, and of course you know that shape there to be a rectangle. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the concluding example here, determine whether the figure is a polygon. If not, explain why not. We saw a question just like this a few minutes ago here. As you can see here, the figure is closed. That is good. The figure is composed of all line segments. That is good. However, what you see here is not a singular polygon. This is actually two separate polygons. You have up at the top here what turns out to be a four-sided shape, a quadrilateral. And down here at the bottom you have what also is a four-sided shape, another quadrilateral. However, this is not a singular polygon. So no, this is not a polygon. This is actually two polygons, but it is not a singular polygon. So no is going to be our answer here, not a polygon.